Heyo, and welcome back to the Pick and Mix podcast. Welcome back to the roundup.
It's the roundup.
I should honestly get a theme song for this. Sorry for the lack of actual episodes. I'm uncreative as hell right now, but working on it.
You gotta get back on the grind.
We've got to get back on the grind. But anywho, let's start off with the worst tracks of this week.
Quite a few.
We've had a few shit tracks this week. Let's start off with Falling For You by Jaden and Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a yikes. I mean, honestly, this album, I would say it's probably... it has some decent tracks, but this one's a bit of a stinker. It's very dull delivered, and I'm just biased against Justin Bieber, I think. He's just got a plastic-ass voice.
Everything he puts out is just so boring, aside from that one song on fucking Rodeo,
And the production's somewhat enjoyable. It's it's something you would play on a beach trip.
But I think what really, really ruins it is those really sus lyrics.
Yeah, the lyrics
they're kind of manipulative. It reminds me of the really weird lyrics on Sad.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's just not okay. And Jaden's 12 years old. Whatever.
The worst lyric I think is something like, "If you don't call me, I'ma jump off the roof."
So
I mean, it's fucking attention seeking much. And next we have Bryson Tiller with Inhale. Was this even a song? I swear half of it is literally just a sample.
It's a minute long intro of just a fucking sample. And when Bryson Tiller comes in, he's still really underwhelming. It doesn't really pick the track up that much. It's so sleepy and just not...
I don't know how to put it, but the flow is somehow cringy to me. But I don't exactly know how to put that into words.
I kind of understand what you mean. It just seems kind of corny. And all on top of that, it's shit mix. The song does not sound good either. So.
I would honestly vibe to it if it was literally just the sample, though.
Yeah,
I think the sample's definitely the fattest carry there.
But even then, it's not amazing.
Yeah. We've only got two more in the worst tracks.
Oh boy.
Oh, we've got Joyner Lucas and Ashanti, Fall Slowly. Joyner can't do love songs. It's just...
It's so corny. It's really, really corny.
I mean, props to Ashanti, Ashanti has some cool vocals.
On a track is mad.
But it's not only is it corny, but it just feels very boring.
I don't remember much about it aside from the fact that I just didn't find it.
I feel like a lot of tracks that have been put out this week that we'll talk about in the mess section, they've been quite forgettable, majority of them, I think.
There's just a lot of dull shit, but there's also been some really weird things, which we'll get into a little bit later. But
and we're just going to call this literally the worst track.
You've been waiting to slander this one.
I've been waiting so hard. They're KSI, Nathan Dorr, Ella Henderson, SX, Window Cleaner Guy, and Kidzu, the Lighter remix. Oh, it's so bad.
Lighter has taken a nosedive, because if we were doing the roundup when it first came out, it probably would have been in best tracks. And then the acoustic remix we had in Meh, and now we've got the next remix.
Bro, right, SX, right? SX, he produced Down Like That. Down Like That's somewhat enjoyable production. But this, what the fuck? It's some Dead Trap remix.
It's so much worse than the original, which is just a banger, but
the mix is so weird. The reverb sounds awful on Ella Henderson. KSI sounds a little bit offbeat. And Window Kid's verse, it's like he's doing blooming slam poetry.
Fucking hell, there's nothing redeeming.
So
aside from
bad.
The fact that the original hook is pretty catchy.
Yeah, I've wanted to be venting about that. We're glad we're
getting some aggression off on this KSI track.
But that is it for the worst tracks. Not too many, not too much, Alright, so now we're on to the Meh tracks. We got Lil Durk with The Voice. I'm pretty sure this was meant to be an album, but then he delayed it, didn't he?
I have no idea. I don't think it was ever confirmed to be an album. I think everyone was just saying it's an album, but no. Didn't he drop a mixtape this year as well?
He probably did. He fucking... I don't know. But the production's somewhat nice.
Yeah, I do like some of those little guitar licks, and it's pretty classy.
I can't. It's so forgettable. The flow feels weird as hell. I mean, I feel like it's a really good beat, though.
Let's be real. how does Lil Durk stand out among the Young Thugs and the Futures and the Lil Uzis? What is he doing that makes him special? I don't think there's much.
I feel like, you know, like, he went... What was his last song? It was with Drake. I feel like he had
Cry Later, but he was basically a non-factor in that song. He had, like, an 8-bar verse.
He went... That was somewhat decent, I think, because it was short, so, you know?
Yeah, I think if he was longer, it would have been alright, but...
Maybe. You know? But anywho, that's that track. Now on to this track's been kind of hyped. Simba and KSI with Loose. I had really high expectations for this.
I can't say I had high expectations. Because I like Rover. I think it's a good song.
Yeah.
But I can't exactly say I had high expectations.
It had like 6 remixes to it.
Yeah. The little tech.
But, you know, the beat is very nice. It does progress to like some extent, but you don't actually. It's just really repetitive track because I think the chorus is looped like 3 times at the start, and then
I think the problem with the production is that it's really not super special.
Yeah.
Like, that bass line is something I'd write. It's so fucking vanilla, and it barely changes throughout the song, just gets inverted a couple of times. It's just not that interesting.
I don't know if you've heard this, but there's this British rap track called "Don't Rush." You know, like "Don't Rush, take time with it." They had like a DaBaby remix of it, and I swear, I don't know why, but the flowing instrumental sounds very similar to that for me.
I'll probably have to listen to it, but I haven't heard it.
And KSI, you see on his Instagram story, he was like sending snippets to fans. Surprisingly, didn't get leaked on YouTube. But everyone was like, oh my god, he's got mad flow, oh my god.
He's going crazy. But he's also doing this weird, like, this accent. He's doing a Jamaican accent, which I think KSI has a lot more... He has a lot more reason to do it than someone like Drake, who's, like, not even fucking remotely related to this dancehall kind of
Oh yeah, when
sound.
he's like,
when he's rapping
UK
about
accents,
things, you know.
Yeah, back with a man them. Fucking, like, heady one stuff. But yeah, his KSI had a dead verse. It wasn't. I don't think it was very long either, or maybe his lines just dragged a bit. And then next we're on to
what do we have?
The big rival of KSI, Jake Paul with 23.
Who would have thought KSI and Jake Paul in the Meh tracks of the week? Like, if you'd have told me that 5 years ago.
Jake Paul's it's so generic, this track though. It's like Fresh Out of London too. It's like, hey yo, Fresh Out of London did banging, bro. Let's just remake
Making his rap career as the most generic artist imaginable.
No way does someone go from King Ohio Fried Chicken to something...
You're hearing these white boy flows though, right? Like, he's going crazy.
It's his accent for me, like the way he raps. It sounds like he's off to shag his sister or some shit like that. I don't.
Fuck Jake Paul. I don't know what that point of that is, but fuck Jake Paul.
Fuck Jake Paul, but it's just boring. But I honestly can't argue that it's terrible, partly because I honestly don't think it's written by him. To be fair, but the production's definitely like, you know, some fucking off-brand rock star type beat, something like that. And then next we're on to Air Max from Comethazine, who dropped a really shit album this year.
It wasn't like 20 minutes long. I mean,
I don't know. It was called Pandemic. And then one track blew up on TikTok, but honestly, all the tracks were like dead. There was like no energy. But in this track, he somewhat brings, you know, his usual energy back to life with this track, sort of. Production's somewhat boring, but you know, it's still got the same dark vibes.
I think the problem with Comethazine's sound right now is that it's just not diverse enough. He's not doing anything.
It's just all the same.
Divert from like fucking every song is Walk 2, like at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. And the mix felt a bit weird.
Yeah, his voice sounds really buried, which makes no sense why you would want his voice buried when the whole appeal of Comethazine is how aggressive and in your face he is.
Yeah, but speaking back to the production, it is a little bit boring, but I can appreciate, you know, like the eerie the eerie sound effects that are played throughout it. I kind of like, And then we have Locked Up Part 2 by 6ix9ine.
You were trashing this song like really hard when it first dropped.
Because I appreciate Akon's music so much. I'd be like jamming to like tracks like Smack That with Eminem and, you know, Don't Matter, and then Lonely, and then just for him to, you know, drop this, I just feel like it's such a weak track. But we do get a new verse from Akon on it, which is
and I think
somewhat
the
enjoyable.
auto-tune on 6ix9ine's voice is
it's so weird.
It sucks. It sucks.
He's trying to branch away from that scream rap, but I don't think it's kind of working for him. The only track that I think it worked on highly was Trolls, which is probably the best song on his Tattletales album.
I mean, there's really, while we're still talking about Tattletales, I really don't think there's too much to talk about it. It's not that interesting.
Yeah. I think on Locked Up 2, he used a verse that he also uses on a track that's
the jail
GTL
track.
is awful, but we're not gonna talk about GTL.
Let's move away from the 6ix9ine
let's move away.
topic.
All right, and the last track of the Metracks for these past 2 weeks is "Bring Me the Horizon" Obey featuring Youngblood. Youngblood surprised me a lot on this. I mean, I like some of his stuff. Lemonade was a fat letdown, though.
That was an L. That track was an L.
That was a big
Denzel's
L. You know,
my goat,
Denzel.
but, you know.
Denzel had to come in and save the day, but he does fit in very well with this heavy metal.
I can agree that he fits in well, but that still doesn't mean I like his voice or his performances. He's just too fucking. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I just don't like it.
He's a bit rowdy in.
He's a bit Rotherham, isn't he?
I thought he was from Doncaster.
Oh no, bit Rotherham, bit Doncaster. Same thing.
Same thing.
Anyway, it's just it's so. I could not get through this track. I cannot take it seriously. It's
just
so
edgy.
You could cut yourself on the edge of this track. It's like new metal, and I think the problem with this, like, if you really, really want to listen to new metal, and I don't know why you would want to listen to new metal, just listen to that new Poppy album, because that's a really good album.
Oh, wait, Poppy, weren't she like the weird one that randomly went viral? And she's like, "Hi, I'm Poppy."
She dropped an amazing metal album.
Bro, I'm gonna have to listen to that.
But yeah, it's just kind of, it has some nice guitar lines and a very annoyingly catchy chorus.
Yeah. Alright, so that is it for the shit tracks and the Metracks, and now we're on to the pick of the mix. And there is surprisingly a lot of
There's a
them.
lot here as well.
So what should we start off with? Let's start off with Red Card by Frisco, and is it Skepta, JME?
It's Skepta, JME, Jammer, and Shorty, I think.
For someone who's not largely into excuse that. Yeah.
Stupid.
For someone who's not into UK rap, this track caught me off guard. I mean, I bumped the occasional like JME and Grime MC album, you know, some old Skepta songs. But I don't know why, something about this song just felt very strong to me. Like the grimy like instrumental.
Yeah, it's so that instrumental is nasty. It's in your face. The synth sample is weird and disorienting. It fits perfectly with the vibe of the track.
I feel like UK Grime has some really like good instrumentals, and they're.
Oh yeah, I think the UK scene's really killing it right now, and this track kind of brings it all together. And Jammer coming with those Mario Kart bars, I just can't hate.
And then next up, we've got meme rapper legend Young Gravy with the track Yup. I just want to say, meme rap has evolved so much. It's so different.
I'm extremely critical of meme rap and other derivative forms, but I really like this track. I think it's great.
Rappers like, just to list a few, Young Gravy, you know, Baby No Money, Billy March Your Father. I feel like we've gone from people rapping about like fucking Mars bars and Twix to like somewhat it's meme rap, but you can actually enjoy it and you can you know, sometimes have a little laugh to it, the occasional ones. But this track, what really stands out is you know, what is it? What type of guitar is it in the background? It's
like a Latin guitar.
The guitar instrumental is like catchy, and then you know, like the little beat cuts in between it, and
it's nice. And I think again, it's a really good cross between these kind of meme rap, because it's funny, but it's not kind of cringy funny, you know? It's not trying too hard,
I mean, like,
I feel.
You know, meme rap these days, it's just like, nutted in this woman. Yeah,
my parents left me.
Just shit like that.
That's
but
the vibe.
Young Gravy's put out a few slappers in his time. Alright, and now we go to underground hyperpop artist Glaive with his new track Arsenic.
So you put me onto this, and I was like, whoa, this is good. This is really good.
Glaive this guy, he's going places in hyperpop. I honestly think this is what definitely one of his most predominant tracks. I feel like this is going to be one of his biggest.
This is going to be a hit. It sounds like a hit.
He doesn't miss. Like if you listen to his whole discography, but this one, the production, I
think it has a very good crossover between more hardcore hyperpop fans and more mainstream listeners. I think it will be pretty big.
And it doesn't like typical glitchcore hyperpop where like they retune their auto-tune to like 0 and it's just major auto-tune.
I think his voice reminds me of like some of Drain Gang who I dislike greatly, but his voice reminds me of that in a good way, like some of the good qualities of like an Echo 2K or whatever.
I'm pretty sure the production's like self/co-produced with
big ups to him as well if he's self-producing.
He's co-produced with this guy called Weaven, if you've heard of him. He's done a track with Oliver Tree before called When I'm Down.
I've heard that track, but I hadn't heard of Weaven.
Yeah, great production. And it's self-mixed and mastered. So,
So props to that.
I would say he's pretty much self-made in his journey. But I'd say that for most hyperpop artists, because you won't see big labels signing major hyperpop artists these days, unless like,
you're 100 Gex,
Charlie XCX, 100 Gex, Dylan Brady,
music, kind
all that shit like that.
Crowd.
But yeah, banger. Then we go on to probably the longest track on this list, Big Sean's Friday Night Cypher. How many people did he get on this? Was it like...
I can't even think of... I think there's 10 verses, so...
Eminem obviously goes last for respect.
And he fucking kills it. Like, let's get that out of the way. He kills it.
The last bar, I don't know why, the last bar, it's sort of like, I'm possessed, that's 9/10 of the law. Something like that. And basically 9/10 of the law is something like talking about owning something, and it refers to his Slim Shady alter ego, the edgy shit. And it's just bar on top of bar.
I'm not really a massive Eminem fan, but he's been killing it this year.
I'm a big Eminem fan. Like I'm the type of person to say Music to Be Murdered By is one of like the greatest Eminem albums in like a few years, which arguably, compared to like Revival and Kamikaze, because this one's like a full-length album. But yeah, I think he's really been on top with his features. But this track's not only got Eminem, we gotta remember we've got
everyone else. I think T Grizzly goes kind of hard at the start.
The fact that Eminem is on a track with T Grizzly is kind of funny. Just that irony
42
of
Doug,
it.
Kodak Black too, but he kind of goes hard as well.
I hate Kodak Black. Let's not even bring Kodak Black into the situation.
Why have we mentioned that, man?
Just no.
And I think this song is great. It's just so much fun.
Yeah.
Even if it's not consistent in quality, even if some of the beats are a little off, you gotta respect the
gotta respect the effort of all the rappers. You got Royce as well. I nearly forgot about Royce.
Kills it.
Royce has got the dummy hard verse. But yeah, banger track.
It's a good song.
Definitely one of the highlights of Detroit too. Alright, and then we go on to the latest track from Gorillaz, Strange Times.
Yes. Oh yes.
Ooh, it weirded me out on the first listen. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then
it's so different to this.
When it builds up,
when they shared the sample, I thought it was going to be a proper banger, and then it's really weird and kind of.
It's scary how it sounds like something literally from the 80s.
And it makes sense when there's Robert Smith on it as well.
The vocals kind of give me I mean it's a shit comparison, but they kind of give me like David Bowie vibes, like from that era.
I kind of understand what you mean. It's in their very.
I don't know, just
the full personality and really...
Yeah, the tones just very similar.
And I think it's just a really great kind of post-punk, but has some weird like house and dance beats towards the end. It's weird, and I think it's the perfect opener for their upcoming album. You better be streaming it when it comes out in October.
I'm gonna give it a listen. I've liked the tracks. If Momentary Bliss is on it, I'm obviously streaming it.
My favorite album of all time is a Gorillaz album. I'm into them, but yeah, it's a great track.
Alright, and then we're moving on to, I think, somebody who's everyone's been waiting for them to drop.
We've been waiting for this day.
Hit Different, featuring Ty Dolla $ign. Personally,
I swear they just dig Ty Dolla $ign out the basement whenever someone needs a feature. Like,
personally, I feel like it would be a better track without him. I mean, it's good with him, but like,
alright, yeah, I think he does sound quite nice with it definitely needed a feature as well for those kind of really nice.
The outro of it really put me off a bit with just him going, and
then hit different.
But you know, the instrumentals, like, you know, it's your typical R&B. It's very like relaxing sort of.
Yeah, but it's very weird and kind of spacious. It's very atmospheric, and I found it very odd for a single, but I still like it.
There was a snippet at the end of the music video, I think.
Oh, apparently the next track is like produced by Jacob Collier.
Yeah, I think I've heard a few tracks from him.
A genius.
Hasn't he done some work with Daniel Caesar, or?
Yes, he has. I'm pretty sure.
Moving on swiftly, we've got To Be a Rebel by New Order. Now, I've never personally listened to anything New Order, so this is...
New Order are a really classic kind of 80s new wave synth pop band. Obviously, they're not the same. They don't have the same members now as they did. But they have some really great albums, and I think this song is kind of throwing back to that 80s sound, and it's really great. I really like it. I
think what I like most is the guitar, and I don't know why, but guitars always stand out a lot.
When it kind of pops in, it's really nice. And the instrumental is just really uplifting. It's just a really fun, uplifting pop song, and it's great.
Alright, and then up next we have new track from Toby Lou, the genius behind Buff Baby, with the new track Endorphins.
It's a vibe. Yeah,
I don't think there's much to say. It's just there's like a steady build up to it, and there's like this
instrumental's very weird but kind of textured. It's great.
I want to call it a drop, but it's like too smooth.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Like a drop mid between. But yeah, not much to say. I love a bit of Toby Lou.
It's just a vibe.
It's just his voice.
Toby Lou is the future, I think.
Toby Lou is God. Then we have one of my favourite tracks this week, Oliver Tree, Dylan Something, and Grand Something.
Dylan Francis.
Yeah, with the Cash Machine remix. I
think what I can say about this, it's one of those like 2012 YouTube EDM remix of a song, but in a good way.
Yeah. So like, I'm not a fan of like EDM remixes because it's one of those tracks they would play on Hallam like at 9 p.m. some shit. Like they play them really late, those really crappy EDM remixes, but I don't know why. This just stands out to me. We also get some nice new verses from Oliver Tree. Beat drop. The beat drop just...
It's nasty. And that's where that kind of YouTube vibes come from, but I think it's really great.
The first listen, it really caught me off guard. Because I was expecting it was
really weird.
Shining like a cash machine. It's just shining like a... It just blew me away.
And I think everything Oliver Tree touches has been pretty great this year. Like the Let Me Down remix, and of course the
Ugly
whole
is beautiful.
album.
Bro, I honestly thought the Let Me Down remix was going to be terrible.
Because it's Blink-182.
But I like Blink-182, but the last remix I'd heard from them was the Deathbed remix, and it was so bad, the Deathbed remix. It was shocking.
But either way, this was a pretty great highlight.
Pretty good. Alright, and then we've got The Gates by Aesop Rock. I've just got a comment. His flow, I swear he doesn't like stop the flow.
He's insane. Aesop is nuts. As a purely technical rapper, I say he's probably the best to ever do it.
I just can't get over the flow. Like the beats, I feel like the beat was very hidden. I didn't really pay much attention to the
odd.
beat.
It's kind of with these synths that kind of sound like video game synths. They're very weird, but I do quite like them and how they supplement the whole song.
Literally just attracted to the flow.
And his lyrics, as always, are very weird and cryptic and need a lot of listening to fucking work out what the hell he's talking about. I think he's talking about going to hell or going to heaven or something, but either way,
He's a spiritual, lyrical.
He's a spiritual, lyrical miracle.
Miracle. Alright, we've only got 2 more tracks this week. We've got, I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it Mamtoon? Okay on Your Own featuring Carly?
I don't know.
Is it? Alright.
Either way, it's Okay on Your Own featuring Carly Rae Jepsen.
Yes, I didn't know Carly Rae Jepsen still made music, not gonna lie.
Fucking Emotion's a banging album. It's so good.
The last track I heard from Carly Rae Jepsen was the music video with Tom Hanks in it.
Man.
That was the last time I heard of Carly Rae.
I've had Run Away With Me on repeat non-stop. I'm addicted to that song again. It's so good.
But bro, it's very simple. Like there's somewhat of a build up. It's very simple, but the vocals, I feel like
the vocal performance from both of them is absolutely just out of this world. It's so good.
It's a nice little vibe,
Yeah. Instrumental kind of builds up throughout the song. Mixing is really good. Like the
mix is
production is pretty great. And there's some good chemistry.
Then we have the last track of this week.
It's the last dance for this week.
I see.
You see what I'm doing?
You see, I see. We've got Last Dance by JPEGMAFIA. Now, I've listened to a few JPEGMAFIA, but I don't exactly know if this is their distinct style.
It's not really. It's very low key for a Peggy track, I think.
Yeah. I think that the track I heard from them last was the Bold remix with Denzel.
Yeah, and I think he's been dropping this consistent stream of singles.
Yeah. Possibly an album coming soon.
I don't know if he's going to be doing an album. I think perhaps it seems to suggest this is his last single for a while, but I don't know whether that means this is the album coming up, or this is just what he's been doing over quarantine. Either way, he's dropped some really great songs. And this is a pretty effective last dance.
I feel like this track had to grow a bit.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird R&B tune with some pretty low-key vocals for him.
I don't know why, I just couldn't get into it, when I first listened.
I really liked it on first listen, but it still, grew on me.
Yeah, I think just a simplistic chill vibe. Bro, yeah. My nose keeps getting blocked, I can't speak.
I've had a cold, so.
Alright. But those were our picks of the mix of this week, these past 2 weeks.
Indeed.
The amount of times I've probably said this week is fucking numerous.
We have picked them from the mix.
Hopefully I'll have some podcast episode of some sort out next week. Hopefully Wednesday, Friday, some shit like that. But we'll see you in another 2 weeks for the next episode of the Roundup. If you did enjoy, make sure to follow or subscribe to the podcast. It would mean a lot. If you want to contact me, you can find me at the Pick Mix Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. And yeah, till next time, see ya.
Later. More tracks soon.